Why you shouldn't care about anything according to Stoic philosophy. Welcome to today's video, where I'm going to tell you something that might sound pretty wild at first. You shouldn't care about anything. That's right, absolutely nothing. Before you click away thinking this is some kind of nihilistic rant, let me explain. This idea of not caring is actually rooted in one of the most powerful and life-changing philosophies ever created, Stoicism. We're going to dive deep into why this ancient wisdom teaches us not to care about things in the way we usually do, and how this shift in mindset can completely transform your life. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, if I don't care about anything, won't my life fall apart? Won't I lose all motivation? That's exactly the kind of misconception we're going to tackle head on. Because the truth is, caring too much about how people perceive you, about outcomes you can't control, about things going perfectly, is what's actually making you miserable. The Stoics, like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, knew this thousands of years ago. They saw how human beings suffer not because of what happens to them, but because of how they react to those things, and in most cases, the root of that suffering is caring about the wrong things. So why shouldn't you care about anything? Let's break it down logically, step by step, and you'll see how freeing this perspective can be. First, let's talk about control. One of the core ideas in Stoicism is understanding what you can control and what you can't. It's pretty simple, but most of us constantly get this wrong. You can control your own thoughts, actions, and reactions. That's it. You can't control what other people think of you, what happens in the world around you, or the outcomes of your efforts. And yet, we spend so much of our time and energy worrying about those very things that are completely outside our control.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Here's a question for you. How often do you stress about things that are entirely beyond your control? Maybe it's a job interview. You can prepare all you want, but you can't control the interviewer's mood or the competition. Or maybe it's about trying to fit in with a certain group of people. You can't control how they see you, no matter how hard you try. The Stoics recognize that when we care too much about these external factors, we hand over our peace of mind to forces we can't influence. The result? Anxiety, frustration, and disappointment. So here's the Stoic solution: stop caring about things that you can't control. That doesn't mean you stop taking action. In fact, the Stoics were all about action. But they knew that the only thing worth caring about is how you respond to what life throws at you. Your effort, your mindset, your inner state, that's all you can truly manage. Once you let go of caring about all the things outside of that, you'll find an incredible sense of freedom. But wait, if we stop caring about everything, won't we become indifferent or passive? Absolutely not. This is where people often get Stoicism wrong. It's not about apathy or giving up. It's about caring in the right way. Imagine you're playing a game. You give it your all, you train, you strategize, and you play your best. But at the end of the day, the outcome of the game isn't fully in your hands. It's influenced by countless factors: the performance of the other players, the weather, luck. A Stoic would say, do your best, but don't attach your happiness to the result. You don't control the outcome, only your effort. So why care about something that's not in your hands? Think about how many times in your life you've been upset because things didn't turn out the way you wanted. Was it because the situation itself was bad, or was it because you were attached to a specific outcome? How much of your unhappiness comes from caring about things that, deep down, you know you can't control? This is a powerful question to reflect on. The Stoics believed that true peace comes from focusing only on what you can control, and that means letting go of everything else. When you stop caring about outcomes, external opinions, and the uncontrollable, you're no longer a slave to circumstances. You become unshakable. Suddenly, the things that used to stress you out no longer have power over you. Someone's rude to you. You can't control how they act, only how you respond. You fail at something. You did your best, and that's all that matters. The rest is out of your hands. What Stoicism offers is a blueprint for mental resilience. It's not about not caring in the sense of being detached from life. It's about not caring about the things that don't truly matter. And when you learn this, you'll start to realize just how much of your suffering was self-inflicted, all because you cared too much about the wrong things. Alright, so now you might be wondering, if I only care about what I can control, what about my goals, my dreams, my relationships? Don't those things matter? Let's dive into that next and explore how Stoicism doesn't just help you stop caring about the wrong things, but also helps you care about the right things in a way that brings true fulfillment. Caring the right way, how Stoicism transforms your goals and relationships. All right, let's dive into something that's probably on your mind right now. If I stop caring about everything, what happens to my goals, my dreams, and my relationships? Don't those things matter? Shouldn't I care about the things I love? The answer is yes, but the way you care needs to change. Stoicism isn't about giving up on the people or ambitions that are important to you. It's about caring in a way that doesn't make you miserable or dependent on things outside of your control. Let's tackle this by looking at goals first. We all have goals, whether it's to build a successful career, improve our health, or create meaningful relationships. Stoicism doesn't say we should stop pursuing these things. In fact, Stoicism encourages us to put in effort and strive for excellence. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoics and a Roman emperor, didn't stop leading an empire just because it was hard. He embraced his responsibility, but he did it with a Stoic mindset. He focused on what he could control, his decisions, his actions, and accepted that the outcomes were not entirely up to him. Here's the key: detachment from the outcome. Stoicism teaches that while you should work hard toward your goals, you can't let your happiness depend on whether or not you achieve them. Why? Because the outcome will always involve factors you can't control. Maybe you want to start a business. You can work tirelessly, plan meticulously, and give it your all. But what if the market crashes? What if something completely unforeseen derails your plans? If your happiness is tied to the success of your business, you'll be devastated by something you had no control over. So, instead of caring about the outcome, care about the process. Care about how much effort you put in. Care about your mindset, your discipline, and your growth along the way. When you do this, you'll still work hard, but you won't be crushed if things don't go as planned. You'll develop resilience because you'll know that you did all you could, and that's all that matters. Now, let's talk about relationships. This is where Stoicism can seem a little tricky. You might wonder, if I follow Stoicism, does that mean I shouldn't care about my friends or family? Absolutely not. In fact, the Stoics placed great value on relationships, but they also understood that you can't control other people, not their actions, not their feelings, not their opinions. You can only control how you treat them and how you respond to them. Here's a question for you: how much of your stress comes from trying to control the people in your life? Maybe you want your partner to behave a certain way, or your friends to always be there for you exactly when you need them. But here's the thing: people are unpredictable. They have their own lives, their own challenges, and their own emotions. If you base your happiness on how others act, you're setting yourself up for constant disappointment. So, what's the Stoic way to care about relationships? Focus on what you can give, not on what you expect to receive. Care about being a good friend, partner, or family member. Care about how you treat others, but don't expect them to behave in a specific way in return. When you stop trying to control the people around you, your relationships will improve. Why? Because you're no longer putting pressure on them to meet your expectations. You're accepting them as they are, flaws and all, and focusing on being the best version of yourself in those relationships. By caring in this stoic way, detached from outcomes, but fully engaged in your actions, you transform the way you approach both your goals and your relationships. You stop being a slave to external forces, and you start finding peace in the only thing you can truly control: yourself. Emotional freedom. Why Stoicism helps you stay calm no matter what. Now that we've talked about goals and relationships, let's address one of the most powerful aspects of Stoicism, the idea of emotional freedom. At its core, Stoicism is about mastering your emotions, not by suppressing them, but by understanding their true source. And once you understand that, you'll realize something incredibly liberating. You don't have to let anything outside of yourself dictate how you feel. Most of us go through life believing that external events are responsible for our emotions. If someone insults us, we get angry. If we lose a job, we feel devastated. If someone praises us, we feel happy. But Stoicism flips this on its head. The philosophy teaches that it's not the events themselves that cause our emotions, but how we interpret and react to those events. In other words, it's not the insult that makes you angry, it's your judgment about the insult. It's not losing the job that makes you sad, it's the meaning you attach to that loss. Let's break this down logically. Imagine two people facing the same situation. Both lose their jobs. One person spirals into despair, feeling like a failure, while the other uses it as an opportunity to explore new possibilities. The event is the same. What's different is how they interpret it. The first person sees it as a catastrophe, the second person sees it as a challenge. And this is where Stoicism shines. The Stoics believe that we have the power to choose how we perceive any situation. We can't control what happens, but we can control how we respond. Here's a deep question for you. How often do you let external events control your emotional state? Think about the last time something didn't go your way. Did you immediately react with frustration or sadness? Or did you pause and consider how you might choose to interpret the situation? Most of us go straight to the emotional reaction without even realizing we're doing it. But Stoicism teaches us to create a gap between the event and our response. In that gap, we have the power to decide how we feel. One of the most famous Stoic quotes comes from Epictetus, who said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is the essence of emotional freedom. When you internalize this idea, you realize that no one and nothing outside of you has the power to make you feel anything unless you give them that power. Someone insults you. It's just words. You can choose to ignore it. You lose out on a promotion. It's just an opportunity to reassess your path. Your happiness, your peace, your calm, these are things that only you can control. But let's be clear, Stoicism isn't about becoming emotionless. It's not about being a robot who doesn't feel anything. Stoicism acknowledges that emotions are natural, they're part of being human. What Stoicism teaches is that you don't have to be a slave to those emotions. You don't have to let them control you. When you understand this, you gain an incredible sense of calm. You stop reacting impulsively to every little thing that happens. Instead, you respond thoughtfully from a place of strength and composure. Think about how much emotional energy you've wasted in your life over things that, in the grand scheme of things, didn't really matter. How often have you given away your peace of mind because of something trivial? Maybe it was an argument with a stranger, a traffic jam, or a bad day at work, Stoicism teaches us to rise above these everyday frustrations. It reminds us that our inner calm is far more valuable than any fleeting external event. So, how do you practice this in your daily life? Start by becoming aware of your immediate reactions. When something triggers you, pause. Don't react right away. Ask yourself, is this something I can control? If the answer is no, let it go. If the answer is yes, focus on what you can do about it, not on the emotion itself. Over time, this practice becomes easier, and you'll find that you're less affected by the things that used to throw you off balance. By embracing this Stoic mindset, you achieve emotional freedom. You're no longer at the mercy of the world around you. Instead, you become the master of your own inner state. And that's a kind of power that no external circumstance can ever take away. The Stoic path to lasting happiness, while letting go of control, is the key as we approach the final part of this journey. Let's bring everything together and talk about what we're really after in life: happiness. Not the fleeting kind that comes from a new purchase, a compliment, or a temporary success, but the kind of deep, lasting happiness that isn't shaken by external events. According to Stoicism, the key to this kind of happiness is simple: let go of control. Now, that might sound strange at first. We've been conditioned to think that the more we control our careers, our relationships, our environment, the happier we'll be. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. The more you try to control things outside your sphere of influence, the more you suffer. Why? Because the world is unpredictable. People will disappoint you. Situations will change. No matter how hard you try, you can never fully control the outcome of anything. And when your happiness is tied to outcomes, you're setting yourself up for constant frustration. Here's the Stoic insight: true happiness comes from controlling only what you can, your thoughts, your actions, your responses, and letting go of everything else. If you can master this, you'll find a deep sense of peace that nothing can disturb. You'll stop reacting to every external event as if it's a crisis and start seeing life for what it is: unpredictable, chaotic, but also full of opportunity for growth. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It means understanding that your role is to act with virtue, to do your best, and to accept that the outcome is beyond your control. Think about it this way: if you plant a seed, you can water it, give it sunlight, and nurture it, but you can't guarantee it will grow. The growth depends on factors beyond you. So why waste energy worrying about the outcome? Focus instead on what you can do: your effort, your attitude, and let nature take its course. Here's a final question to reflect on: how much of your unhappiness comes from trying to control things you can't? What if you let go of that need for control and trusted yourself to handle whatever life throws at you? That's the Stoic path to lasting happiness: finding peace in what you can control and freedom in letting go of the rest. Thanks for joining me on this philosophical journey. Take this Stoic wisdom with you, and remember, your inner peace is within your control, and that's all you ever really need.